I'm Rebecca.
I'm Lelia.
And we are the Boozy Booksellers. And you might have just seen us
Whoa.
in part 1 of this video. And so we are doing our end of year superlatives.
Enjoy.
Jumping into part 2.
Batman voice.
Batman voice.
There were some books.
Where's Rachel?
Why is Rachel not Katie Holmes anymore? What happened to Rachel's face?
Katie Holmes had to get away from
Why
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise wasn't in Batman.
No, but she went through her divorce and
she had to go.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, she had to
like,
go.
I cannot be in Batman because I am busy getting rid of Scientology.
Yeah, they're like, that's
Maggie
fine.
Gyllenhaal, you're up.
Oh, I forgot it was Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, focus. So, my first superlative for part 2 of our 2019 picks is most likely to make you laugh, cry, and listen to Buena Vista Social Club for a week afterwards. And that is Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. This book is absolutely delightful. Rosa is a Cuban-American girl who lives in South Florida. Her family escaped Cuba after the revolution, and they are cursed by the ocean. Like, all of the men that they love end up dying in the ocean, which is very sad. So, hence the title, Don't Date Rosa Santos, because bad things could happen. And then she immediately runs into the very handsome boy with ocean tattoos whose family owns the marina. And it just goes from there. It's basically if you took Gilmore Girls, mixed it with In the Heights, and sprinkled some practical magic on top, and then, like, punched yourself in the heart a couple of times, and then you would get this book. So, it's absolutely delightful. I loved it so much. Don't Date Rosa Santos, and I did listen to Buena Vista Social Club for like a week after I read this book.
So, next up, we have a book, and I got to meet the author for this one. I'm so excited to mention The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, which I'm giving the award for creative use of literacy as a weapon.
Ooh.
It's actually literature as a weapon. A librarian does assault someone with a book, and he deserved it, and this book is fantastic, and these librarians were doing great work. It's based on true stories of the horseback librarians in Kentucky. Oh awesome. My God, these women and the friendships and the importance of reading. Thank you. Jojo Moyes, The Giver of Stars. Yes, she did write Me Before You. I have not read it, but I read this one and loved it.
So now for something completely different. The award for literally how many Irish audiobooks did Rebecca listen to in 2019? It was a lot award. Goes to Say Nothing, A True Story of Murder and Memory in Northern Ireland by Patrick Radden Keefe. So this is a mix of like true crime, political and cultural history, and also like this sort of deep character study on like all of these key players of the Troubles in Northern Ireland, which was like late 60s to 1998. And it begins with the kidnapping and murder of Jean McConville, who was a 38-year-old mother of 10 from Belfast. And it sort of spins out from there. Did you like that?
That was great.
Yeah.
Spin some more.
Ooh.
Spin it out.
And it weaves this very sort of tiny story of one woman and her murder with the sort of bigger political tapestry of the Troubles, and it is absolutely riveting. Also, if you listen to the audiobook narrator has a very lovely Northern Irish accent, and so it was like binge listening. But it is a page-turner of a thriller, and it's based in fact. Like, this book is stunning, and I, like, could not stop listening to it. So, if you're looking for some nonfiction, Say Nothing by Patrick Radden Keefe.
I'm going to give the award for special guest appearance by a ghost to, as a poetic device, I should say, for A Fortune for Your Disaster, poems by Hanif Abdurraqib. The Ghost of Marvin Gaye is a frequent makes appearances in these poems, and nothing has made me Wikipedia Marvin Gaye faster than this. Not since that episode of Atlanta, but I love that tool. I love the poems. I love the way he reads them in the audiobook. So again, I would highly recommend listening to it on Libro FM, but also like the way that they're formatted is, so you should also read them in the book because that's not a good example, but like just the use of space and stuff. I mean, his stuff is all, it's really amazing.
He's such a cool dude also.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a great speaker. He spoke at a publishing conference that Amanda and I went to, and it was just like, you could read me the phone book, yeah. Hanif. Like, pretty absolutely.
So, A Fortune for Your Disaster by Hanif Abdurraqib. Pick up those poems.
I will link it all down below. The next award is the most inventive use of a ship's mast. And that goes to Brazen and the Beast by Sarah McLean. I don't think I need to tell you anything more about this book, except that I loved it. A lot. Yeah.
Sarah McLean, Sarah McLean, Sarah McLean, Sarah McLean. I don't have a physical copy of this book, but I want to talk about...
Insert it here.
Yes, Rebecca will make it appear later. The Ladies' Guide to Celestial Mechanics, which was picked as the romance book club pick by the Rip Bodice for their Great Big Romance Read, and it kicked off our romance book club, and we all loved it. It's fantastic, so I am giving it the award for Sexiest Craft, in which embroidery plays a really important part for one of the characters, and also a good excuse to get a girl in your bedroom.
Ooh.
Hey, you want to come look at my embroidery? Like, yes.
And I haven't read this book yet, so I'm very intrigued.
It's delightful. Olivia Waite, Ladies' Guide to Celestial Mechanics, historical romance. Thank you, Rip Bodice, for picking that.
Amazing. And my next award is the Best Wench to Pirate Ratio Award, and that goes to Well Met by Jen DeLuca, and it is a rom-com set at a Ren fair, and like I read this in like 2 days, and it was an absolute joy to read. It just made me want to eat turkey legs and like run around yelling like pirate things, and like, which we did at the Maryland Ren Fest immediately after reading this book. And so I highly recommend it. It's a great, like, fun, light, but, like, also very emotional, like, wonderful read. So, also some wenches and some pirates. So, that's Well Met by Jen DeLuca. Very strong wench to pirate ratio. Thumb of approval.
A+. So, I'm going to give the award for speculative fiction that asks humanity to look at your life, look at your choices, to The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull, and it is appropriately named. It is about an alien invasion, sort of, humanoid aliens who have super strength, essentially, invade Earth. It's set in the Virgin Islands, and it's really well done. The writing is fantastic. The multiple points of view really help you sort of get a grasp of different perspectives as the humans are adapting or not adapting to living with these super powerful aliens who are just kind of like, you guys are annoying, but we're gonna just, like, I guess, use your stuff, thanks. Anyway, it's phenomenal. Highly recommend The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull.
So my final award for 2019 is the best book I read, but it is the hardest to actually describe succinctly award, and that goes to The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. So the best way I could come up with to describe this book is gritty Kansas noir meets a medieval fairy tale. And it is utterly unique. It is totally unforgettable. It is this sort of like crooked, twisted, redemptive love story between this like tough as nails Kansas woman who like sometimes smuggles weed in from Colorado, and Gentry, who is an autistic man who is a knight. Knight. He has a suit of armor. He has swords. He's very good at fighting with the swords. He is building himself a castle. Like, he speaks as if he were in a medieval tale, and it just sort of goes from there. And it's beautiful and gorgeous and hopeful and, like, not saccharine, which I find very important in these kinds of stories. And, like, I laughed and I also cried. So it's my favorite book of the year. Everyone should read it. The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood.
All right, the last one is kind of a joint book.
It is a joint award.
I think we kind of both are going to give this superlative. You may have heard us mention this book before this year, maybe like a couple times. I don't know. I wasn't counting. It's just a little book called The Beholder by Anna Bright. She works here. If you've never been to the store, you might not know that this is your first YouTube video of ours.
Yeah.
Anna Bright is
our coworker.
And she wrote this beautiful, wonderful book.
So the superlative is the best book written by our coworker.
My superlative for it is Best Fictional Character of 2019, which goes to Torden. I'm sorry, is that... I don't mean to, like, come out as having a favorite. Because,
no, absolutely, I have a
I'm
favorite.
sure all the characters that my coworker has beautifully crafted in this are great. But Torden is the best, and it is a fact.
Yes, that is fact.
So
check
anyway,
us on that.
The Beholder by Anna Bright. Read it so you can weigh in and tell me how much you love Torden.
And if you have not heard of this amazing book before now, it's basically like Cinderella meets The Selection by Kira Cass, like sprinkled with a little bit of the Odyssey. by Homer, and like
A little guy named Homer.
And then you like shake some fairy tales on top, and then you just sort of like do this a little bit,
Shake it big.
and then put some rose gold foil on
Yes.
that ish.
Rose gold. Like I said, we've talked a little bit about this one before, but I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that it was best of 2019.
Woo! Whoop, 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 whoop,
Great
whoop,
job,
whoop,
Anna.
whoop. Anna, we love you.
Thanks for listening to our video, guys.
Yay! That's 2019, guys.
We almost did it.
It's gonna.
survived 2019.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2020 soon, and isn't that a horrifying thing to think about?
Yes.
Hmm.
Let it sink in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
Good job, you guys.
Yeah,
Way to go, everyone.
You made it through the decade.
You made it. Please do share with us your favorite books of
Yes.
2019
And
or
if you
your
have-
superlatives.
I was about to say, and if you have any like fun superlatives, please let us
we
know.
would love to hear them.
They bring us so much joy.
Yes.
And also, hopefully, we will get back into a rhythm of recording a little bit more often than we did over the past year. But we love you guys, and thank you so much for watching and buying books and being great.
We have gotten a lot of support in 2019 as One More Page and as Boozy Booksellers, and we are so grateful.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your year, and
Happy 2020.
let's go 2020,
Let's go
everybody.
2020.
It's gonna
Coming
be
in
good.
Coming in off the bench.
Coming
Coming in
off the
hot.
bench.
Bye.
And that's for the World Series, everybody.
Woo!